Have you been considering making the move to downtown Denver but want to know what everyone's saying on why not to move there? Well, in today's video, I am going over exactly that, so if that's something that you're interested in, go ahead and keep on watching. Welcome back to Colorado Living. I'm Nicole Baker. Today we're going over exactly that, but before we get started, I have to let you guys know I'm a licensed realtor here in this beautiful state. So if moving to downtown Denver or Colorado in general has been on your mind, feel free to reach out, number and email popping up. But if you're not quite ready to reach out, go ahead and subscribe. I post videos every Monday and Wednesday at 5 p.m. So you'll get tons and tons of information for free on this channel. But let's get started in today's video. Downtown Denver has been a huge topic of discussion here on my channel. I do have a moving to downtown pros and cons video. If you guys want to check that out, I will put the link up here on the top right so you guys can go ahead and see that whenever you are done watching this video, of course. But I have gotten tons and tons of comments with a lot of people saying a lot more negatives than positives, unfortunately. And if you live downtown or have lived in a downtown space before, you know there are a lot of negatives, but there are also a lot of pros. In this video, I'm not going over a lot of the pros. So again, watch that video back if you want to know some of the amazing pros that come with downtown living. But let's go ahead and get started with the first one. The first one is going to be pretty obvious with any downtown setting, is going to be the horrible traffic that you have to deal with on a, let's say, daily basis, majority of the time, even on the weekends, depending on where you are. A lot of people, especially in Denver, it is a very touristy area, so you are going to be very populated pretty much all the time with traffic, and a lot of it. I am probably the worst person when it comes to talking about living downtown in the regards to I definitely have more cons. For me personally, when it comes to living downtown, and traffic is probably the number one thing in my opinion of living downtown. I hate traffic. It's just like, it's horrible. So I live in the suburbs. We don't have to deal with traffic as much. Of course, you're gonna have to deal with it no matter where you live a little bit of the time. But again, with living downtown, of course, it's more walkable. So sometimes people don't even own cars, or if they do, they rarely use them. So keep that in mind if you're thinking about downtown living, and you can look past all the unfortunate traffic that is going down downtown. Right next to traffic is of course going to be the unfortunate parking situations that have to do with living downtown. If you take your car out a lot, of course, you know, some apartment buildings or homes in general that you may be purchasing do come with parking spots, but not every single townhome, condo, whatever you decide to purchase is going to come with that kind of amenity. So keep that in mind if you are looking to purchase downtown. Not every spot comes with a parking spot. So make sure if that's important to you, you ask, because if you do have street parking, sometimes it could get really, really filled up. But I'm not even necessarily talking about in front of your home, but the actual like going shopping and getting food and all of the things. Like if it's not walkable, you are going to have to park, and parking costs money, of course, depending on where you're parking. But majority of the time, if you're going to do street parking and not necessarily a specific like restaurant or things like that, where they do sometimes have the parking for you, and even then sometimes it's filled depending on what time of the day you're going. But a lot of these restaurants downtown and like coffee shops and things like that, they don't necessarily have their own parking. So keep that in mind. It takes extra time and it costs extra money. That is a huge negative in my opinion, and I think in a lot of people's opinions about living downtown. Heading into the next topic of discussion, and this could be a sensitive spot for a lot of people. When it comes to Denver, obviously there are, in any city actually in general and living downtown, there are going to be homeless around those areas. So depending on where you're living downtown, of course, I'm not going to specifically say this street and this street are going to be your problems. Downtown Denver is fairly large, so you will have a wide array of options to pick from, and I would highly suggest, of course, if you are thinking about coming downtown and that is the thing that you don't like about living downtown, I would highly suggest coming and looking at these neighborhoods. But you know, there's just no way of avoiding it. That is what it is when it comes to living in a city. Coming from Phoenix and being around the downtown Phoenix area, luckily Denver doesn't have as bad of a problem as some other states. I have heard that it has gotten worse over the years. I usually just avoid downtown in general mostly because of the traffic, of course. But keep that in mind. If you have a problem with that, you will want to come down here and explore these areas, because again, downtown living, you're gonna have homeless. Unfortunately, it just is what it is, and I wish that we could get, I don't know, some sort of program together to help these people and make their lives better. And I wish it wasn't a problem, but it is, and that's just something that you're gonna have to deal with when living downtown. To the next topic, and I think if you're thinking about moving downtown, you probably already know this, but a lot of the downtown scenes can be overcrowded. I think that is definitely a problem in general when it comes to cities. That is the city life though. So typically, you know, you're gonna have a wider range of people living there because you have so many high-rise buildings, apartments, condos, things like that, so they can just stuff as many people downtown as possible. And I think that's some of the beauty to a lot of people, so you can look at that as a pro or a con. I know a lot of people think of that as a con. For me, that's another reason why I personally would never live downtown, is just because it is pretty crowded down there and I get a little anxious around lots of crowds. But you are thinking, like, there's about, what, 700,000 people living in Denver proper, aka like a Denver zip code. And that's not just downtown, of course, but you know, a lot of that is downtown, and a lot of those people are coming downtown for working and not even just living there. Like I mentioned, it's just like all the people that have to travel downtown for work or fun or whatever the case may be. You're gonna have a really large influx of people depending on the day and the time and all of that thing and the seasons and whatnot, even tourists, things like that. So just keep that in mind. If you don't really like overcrowded places, I would definitely suggest just not moving to a city in general. You want to go to those suburbs, places that are a little less populated, like little old me. I hate crowds. So anyways, definitely avoid downtown if you hate crowds just like me. Going off of being overcrowded, there are some things that come with having a large population living in a small area. You are going to definitely see that it is very busy and loud, and also sometimes I would say it is pretty dirty when it comes to living downtown. Again, if you lived in the city or live in a city, you know it comes with the territory of living downtown. Coming from, again, Phoenix, you guys have no idea. I talked to some of the locals, because I'm obviously not a local, I'm from Phoenix. So I talked to a lot of the locals, and they're like, you know, it's really gone downhill and this and that. And I'm like, you guys have no idea how beautiful the city is there compared to, say, Phoenix, where some places in Phoenix are really bad, or some people like that come from LA County. Of course, there are going to be some really nice areas, but it is super overpopulated there. So you are going to have the hustle, the bustle, the busy, the dirty, all of those things that come with a very overcrowded place, because you're trying to stuff a bunch of sardines into a can. I was watching this video and it actually said that there's more people in LA County than there are in the state of Denver. So just a little part of California, there are more people in that than the whole Colorado in general. So like, keep that in mind. Obviously, that city living is just going to be way, in my opinion, worse than it is going to be in Denver. So if you're moving from California or moving from some of these super large overpopulated cities, you're not going to get that extreme city life that those two, like, you know, New York City, for example, or LA, those places where it's like, I can't even barely like walk in there, and you're not gonna have that extreme traffic. You're not gonna have that extreme overcrowding here in Denver, which again, you know, for me, that would be obviously a pro if I was thinking about moving downtown, but a lot of people just hate that overcrowded, busy lifestyle in general. So keep that in mind if you're thinking about moving to downtown Denver. Next subject, I think this is one that you guys have all been waiting for, and a huge con that comes to downtown living in general is going to be the crime. I can't go legally too deep into crime details. Some places are going to have more crime than others, and it really varies between the streets. I mean, you could have a one street that's super nice, no crime at all, and then the next street you could have it. You could be in a $2-3 million condo high-rise building and still have crime. These are things that come with downtown living. So if crime is important to you and you want to know more about it, please do your research on it. I do have links below to pretty much anything and everything that you would need to know Colorado wise, whether it be schools, whether it be crime, whether it be specifically what neighborhoods, and what other people are saying about those as well. So go ahead and check that out. But of course, crime is going to be a big factor for a lot of people when it comes to living downtown. Last but not least, you guys know, of course, I'm going to be mentioning it since I am a realtor. We're going to be talking about the downtown housing situation. If you are looking for a true proper home, like a single family home like you would see in the suburbs or something similar to that, your budget is going to have to be quite high, and depending on, you know, are you willing to renovate? Are you willing to do certain things? Like, you're gonna have to have a pretty high budget to get something that you may like in downtown. If you're more okay with a townhome, condo, apartment, things like that, you might be able to get a little bit of a better deal. The average price point in downtown Denver is going to be $575, and I think that has to do a lot with just having so many condos, townhomes for sale there. You are able to, if you're able to get a 2-bedroom or 1-bedroom, there are tons and tons of options for you right now. But in those more like single family homes, if you want to be close to downtown, if you want it to be fully renovated, things like that, if you want the whole situation that you might get in the suburbs but downtown, you need to be closer to the $1 million price point. I would say 800,000 or more, just because of the fact that like there's majority of the homes and housing there in general is going to be older. So when you want that renovated house, you are going to have to pay more. And then also there's just not a lot of single family homes there, mostly condos, mostly townhomes, building like businesses and things like that. So keep that in mind if you're thinking about the housing. You might have to, you know, really think about the budget when it comes to housing in general and living downtown in Denver. Alright guys, that's it for today's video. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Hopefully you got a lot of knowledge on why downtown Denver may not be the place for you. If you did, go ahead and hit the like button down below. Also, again, I post videos every Monday and Wednesday at 5 p.m. so feel free to subscribe if you want more content all about downtown Denver and all the surrounding suburbs. But until next time, you guys, I'm a licensed realtor here in this beautiful state, and if you're thinking about relocating, please reach out to me. I love helping you guys relocate just like I did. My number and email are popping up. But until next time, guys, I will see you later. Bye.